Welcome, everyone. This is Piney Needles, and you're listening to Lotro Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in Lotro and here at Lotro Players. And this week we have with us Andang,
Hey, everybody.
Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Maven,
Hey, y'all.
Aerithert,
Hello, everybody.
and Carvet.
At your service and your families.
And today we will begin with the game news, where some people are reading the various posts put up by the producer to mean that the EU data centers might never exist.
Yes, Pineleaf, I know that you're a doubter of this information. We established that on Lotro Academy last night. But it seems fairly clear, especially since after people have said that it seems like that there may never be EU data centers, Turbine has not tried to correct them. So here is the official quote, and I'm going to read the whole thing out from Vivian on the forums, and then we'll get into it. Now that we have been in the new data center in New Jersey on the new hardware for several weeks now, we have learned a lot about how our service works with domestic and international internet service providers. Early efforts at tuning have been showing progress, leading to measurable improvements in latency for both US and EU players. Based on this early information, we believe that players will be best served by us focusing on improvements to our new data center, rather than moving the EU servers to Amsterdam. Going forward, we'll continue to work with our technology team at our data center, as well as key regional ISPs to improve the performance of Lotro for all players worldwide. The next step of this process will have us on a new routing system in the next few weeks. This is expected to improve performance for players in much of the EU and certain parts of North America as well. So, what it sounds like is that they have this new performance boosting technology that they're going to be using on their singular data center instead of getting a second data center in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Well, I think that means that they were going to be, at least that's going to be their priority. I will agree with that. I don't know if it necessarily means that the other side is postponed in permanently or not.
I
Which
think
is
that,
why there's the may never. To be
Yes.
fair, to be fair.
well, the main sentence is the we believe players will be best served by us focusing on improvements to the new data center rather than moving the EU servers,
Yeah.
not
And
before moving.
Well,
and
I think,
them
yeah, because they're focusing on. I was just say there is room for other interpretations.
And we never really know,
Yeah,
in
we
all
won't
honesty.
know until they decide. But of course,
and even
they
if they
seem.
do decide, they
But
might
it's fun to
redecide.
speculate.
Yeah, right. Now,
Hmm.
they're talking about it in the next few weeks of having some changes in what was that section they're doing? The packet handling or something like that. The But I know that's about when they're planning on bringing in DDO.
Interesting.
Yeah, because DDO,
Let's
they're
add a wrench to this
yeah, let's
circus.
add a wrench to this entire.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, DDO is expected to be coming out in a few more weeks in at the new data center. We'll have to find out whether or not they make any changes on those plans or not. I have a feeling they're going to do some more tests, see how things are going, and see if everything is all nice and ready for the move.
That's like Turbine dropping a needle in a haystack and trying to find it by trying to fix the servers. And then realizing, oh hey, we have this other game, let's bring in this whole other haystack and make an even bigger mess because clearly that will help us find the needle in the haystack.
It'll also be that their leases for the other data center may be coming to an end.
That is more likely, to be honest. Yeah, I'm guessing that that is very close, considering I think they said somewhere that well, I'm assuming that when Lotro servers close, that would be close to when the data center would have to be moved. unless they're going to pay for like half of it for DDO to continue on later or something. That's an interesting thought. But anyway, them saying rather than moving the EU servers to Amsterdam, and then the next sentence is going forward we'll continue to work with the technology on our team at our data center singular, as well as key regional ISP. It just seems like that because they didn't use, there's no reference of them saying, and then we'll add in the next data center. It seems like that they're just going to try this performance booster and see if that works. But that's just my viewpoint on it. Anyway.
All right. Well, I'm sure that if the people in the EU countries are saying, "Wow, there's absolutely no delay after these changes," yeah, they're unlikely to.
Well, I mean, honestly, I put this in my comment. Basically, on the one hand, we have Turbine saying that the updates to the routing system should improve the performance, and obviously, not having another data center is almost certainly a huge reduction in cost, especially an international data center. I'm guessing would be really expensive for Turbine. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing it would save them a lot of money that they could then put into other parts of Lotro. But then on the other hand, there's probably every time that there's any lag at all in the EU, they're going to be saying, if only Turbine had put in the data center here, this lag that I'm experiencing right now would not be happening. Is the thought process.
Even if people in New Jersey are experiencing the same lag.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that if you've got something on your side of the ocean, you can say, well, at least the Atlantic's not in the way, you know. But at the same time, if they can optimize it using various ISP routing techniques and packet technology and blah, 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 technobabble, if it works, then, hey, I'm down. That's more money they can free up for deving stuff like, you know, new zones, instance clusters, raids, putting a hat on a character's head and not having the shading backwards so it looks like you've got a sunburn on your face, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
The important issues, really.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Any other comments on this before we go to the store sales?
Well, there is a second part to this that I did want to mention.
Okay.
There is also improvements to PvP that will be coming. They did re-mention this since it is server related. For those players experiencing issues in PvP, we are adding in client-side optimizations with Update 18 that we hope will lessen the strain on the client and server alike when in battles with large groups. We are also looking into the causes of client crashes when traveling and changing instances. So they're still looking at, you know, all the stuff that people are complaining about, and they're also looking into maybe making PvP be, because there's another sentence that they had after this that suggests that PvP might be better than it's ever been before as far as lag goes.
I have a feeling they'll believe it when they see it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's another one of those believe it when we see it things.
Absolutely.
But it is nice that they, you know, they're at least looking into basically trying to get client-side and server-side optimizations for PvP. That's a really big deal. And in theory, if there's less strain on the PvP side of things, there could be just better performance on the server as a whole, which would be cool too. So.
Yeah.
Now, with that thought, let's head to the store sales. Is there anything wonderful and legendary for sale this week?
Well, free sample this week is a Max Morale and Power Scroll. Use coupon code you can find in the show notes. And 25% off some legendary garbage. Legendary. Sorry, I can't get excited about LI sales. I really, really can't. Please don't spend your turbine points, but it's on sale. Legendary slot unlock, legacy tier upgrades, legacies, scroll of combination, and relic removal scroll.
I think they come back to Pine Leaf's segue there is legendary, yes. Wonderful, no.
Yes, that's what I was expecting her to say.
Well, I don't even really know that it's all that legendary, honestly.
Well,
I mean, they call it
only in the
legendary,
sense of
but-
the name.
Only in the sense
Yeah,
of you already
only
know.
in the sense of the, they call it legendary.
This week, Lotro Players News is brought to us by concerned pace setters.
Having trouble getting out of bed in the morning? Know that your fellowship will leave without you if you are late one more time. Can't seem to get the timing right on baking your pies and they're burning in the oven? Get the new and improved Pine Leaf Countdown. This pocket-sized timer will keep you on pace for whatever you need with reminders on regular intervals. Countdown reminders come standard at 20, 15, 10, and 5 minutes with intervals changeable for your situation. This timer will match any decor with fully customizable cosmetic outfits. Never miss a raid again. Get your Pine Leaf Countdown today.
Oh my
I had the best idea. If anyone knows how to make an app, we could have the
Oh,
Pine Leaf Countdown
we could have
app
Pine Leaf
with
doing
his
it.
actual
20 minutes.
voice.
15 minutes. Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
whenever
and that could, we could give that as a prize. You know how like, wait, don't tell me on
Or
NPR
just make it free.
does like Carl Castle's voice on your voice answering machine. We could do the same kind of thing. You know, Pine Leaf Needles countdown timer.
Brannick, you just volunteered yourself.
I think Brannick did just volunteer himself.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Brannick. Oh, that'd
Well,
be awesome.
yeah, Brannick definitely knows how to make apps.
He is very busy though, so I don't want to pin him
True,
on,
there
on the
is
show.
that.
So, but it would be cool. Oh, he said sure. Awesome.
Yeah,
And we just got to get Pine Leaf to submit the sound bites, and we're good to go.
We
No, I
already
thought
got the sound
I thought
bites.
Brannick I thought Brannick would
Right.
be saying, "What do you mean Liverpool's playing a cup final tomorrow and can't play the Merseyside Derby?" You know?
Well,
my
he
goodness.
should have had the Pine Leaf Countdown so that he could, be there at the start of all games. See, the Pine Leaf
Ah.
Countdown works universally. Pine Leaf, it's always good.
Do we already have a Pine Leaf Countdown episode?
Probably.
I think so.
Because that would have been a really easy one. In that case.
Brannick's going to be looking it up, I'm sure.
We've talked about it so much. I would be surprised if we don't already have a Pine Leaf
True.
Countdown
I think we
episode.
do.
We do.
Let's head into community events for February 26th through March the 3rd, and we are coming into March already.
Oh, man.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
And
lots of stuff coming up in March. Nothing too exceptional this week because the stuff that was really good happened today, and I missed it because I was out of the house. Because Party in the Park was today over on Crick Hollow, and then Lotro Minden 4-year anniversary on Landreval, but those were both at noon server time today, so I missed both of those. And then the regular events through the week. But coming up in March, the weekend of St. Patrick's Day, we have the Day on the Greenfields Music Festival on Landreval, Saturday and Sunday that weekend. And then Crick Hollow's Second Breakfast is going to be hosting their 6th annual Boror Tukti pub crawl on Sunday the 20th, which is the most awesome thing ever. Because they are not only going to be doing like drinking and music, they're going to do special costume competition and a brewathon, pub trivia, scavenger hunt. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I probably won't get to make that one either, but it sounds like it's going to be really cool. My weekends are not my own time.
But you know what is
You have
awesome?
jobs. You have a job, Terry.
That is true.
You have many jobs for your weekend.
Well, for the weekend, I have to spend time with my family. And
Oh yeah.
They-
and
they
there's
don't
that.
understand that there's online stuff that I could be doing instead of spending time with them. They, yeah, because I
I
have to try
know,
and
I
explain
know.
that I have to go hang out with my imaginary friends, and it doesn't go over very well.
They think all of us are your imaginary friends.
Yes.
Well, you know what's really awesome, Terry, and it'll get your mind off of your family. On March 1st, there's Mythgard Adventures on the Landerville server at 9:30 p.m. And you can go over to 2 Frothing Road in the Thorin Homesteads, and you'll have an awesome time.
Yeah, I'm busy.
I actually
on
think
Tuesdays.
I think Terry's family is imaginary. You know what?
Maybe she's just trying to get
Yeah,
away
you
from
never
us.
know.
She's like,
that's what I'm
You
thinking.
never know.
oh,
I
the
think
family
she really
again,
doesn't have
I think she's
guys.
playing her imaginary family against her imaginary friends.
Right. let's head into a 1-year VIP code giveaway. Oh, how can I enter that, Dandang?
Oh, Pineleaf. You've done this however many times. Don't even try to. Anyway, you took all the steam out of this. All right, here we go.
No, if you'd rolled with it, it would have been great.
Aww,
We would have had
I'm
an
so
epic
sorry.
amount of pine leaf like enthusiasm just boiling over into a 1 year.
Yeah, but
turbine
Pineleaf can't enter
thing.
this. Is my point.
What?
And I don't think
Pineleaf
Aerithert
can't
knew
enter.
that. All Lotro
Yeah, we're not
players,
allowed.
website and podcast past or current staff, and immediate family are not eligible. So Pineleaf, I'm sorry, but you can't enter this
We
one.
signed that on our in our employment agreement.
That
Yeah.
that means that
It's a bummer
that means
too.
that means that Terry's imaginary aunt can't enter either.
Right.
Yes. Although aunts are not immediate family technically.
Yeah,
No.
but they're living
That-
in the same house, aren't they?
Yes.
So,
Well,
there's
here's
some
the thing.
tax law that might say that she can't enter. I don't know, but
Becca and I aren't related yet. So
Oh, nice.
that is
I
true,
don't know that you
Aerithert.
really want to go there, Aerithert.
That's technically.
Yet is an important modifier.
yet is an important word there.
I don't know
very
how Becca
important.
will react to you saying that you're no, that you're not
She'll
really
be like,
yet.
ooh,
but-
that's a good idea. We
Maybe.
could win
Yeah.
a 1-year turbine, whatever that is. What is it?
It's a Lotro VIP.
So anyway, this is like the most convoluted giveaway I think we've ever had on this podcast.
See? She just said in my chat it is a good idea. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. All right,
Fair enough.
you got off the hook this time. So
Okay, first of all, this is us we're talking about here.
so the good news is that there is a 1-year VIP code giveaway, and you can enter on as long as you enter before March 12th, leaving a comment on the article with a valid email, so an email that you check, you'll be entered. And basically, we will send an email to whoever we pick as the winner, and by we pick, I mean a random number generator picks, because we go over to random.org and type in the number of entries, and it'll compute instantly like a random number, and then I'll count out, which takes forever, the correct person, and send them an email. And I double and triple count just to make sure it's the right person. And so it's important to have a right email, because if you don't get the email, then it's
You
gonna
don't
be
know you've won.
it's
and
gonna
then
be
there'll
really sad.
weeping
And
gnashing
so-
of teeth and regrets.
And so you'll have a
chaos.
week to respond to that email. If you don't respond, even if it's like a second later, it's going on to the next person, because I would have already sent an email to them, and I can't deny them. You have to abide by the rules, and so you have to respond back within a week. Luckily, I've never had anybody reply back after it being too late, because that would just crush my soul, I think. But
The moral of the story is check your email.
the moral of the story is check your email starting
don't just put in
around
some bunk email that you're never going to check again.
Starting
Just
around
put in an
March.
email.
No,
at least
put
go
in,
in and
like,
check it around
find-
March 12th.
Do like somebody can like find Freelorn's email and just put that in, because the irony of like Turbine staff winning.
Let's not do that, Aerithert. That's
I think Becca would like that idea a lot less than putting hers in.
I'm thinking the idea of, seeing somebody like so-and-so at turbine.com would be like, I don't know.
Next.
Next, yeah.
Then let's head into Tales of the Free Folk, episode 11, The Elder.
Did we really spend that long on the giveaway? I mean, that was a tough
you
segment. All right.
surprised?
Yes,
You're trying to go
episode
back.
11 is so awesome, Pineleaf. We had a ton of fun. You were there even.
Yeah, I heard the rumors of that.
We met an elder. And next week we might actually get answers from the elder.
What?
Mhm.
Answers? No way.
That's what Gray said, but I think that implied that we're actually going to get answers. I think
No, I think I think what we'll
disbelieve.
have is the potential to get answers if we ask the right
we
questions.
have to get answers at some point.
Yeah, right.
Have you like
Have you
Well, the
Listen
thing
to
is,
this-
Ray?
season one
well,
is
have
going
you
to...
listened to previous episodes? Because Asking the right questions is not exactly our forte.
The thing is,
Let's
season
say.
1 is going to end at some point, and so we're going to have to get the answers eventually.
Oh yeah. I
At some
guess so.
point, Gray might just have like a pop-up box come up and be like, "Here is the question you need to ask.
Okay,
Ask
you
this
look
one."
to your right and you notice that this object is shining and sparkly. Oh, I want to click on it. I mean, I go over and I examine it.
And this week in Lotro's Small Lotro Adventures, it looks like Lily Kate gets lost a bit looking for a kitten.
She wasn't the only one getting lost. I
Hard.
watched her get to it.
I heard this cat is a shifty guy. He's a stealth kitty and he's hard to find. Well, lynxes are hard to find though. And if we're going to be fair, I think people have been looking for the missing lynx for a long time.
If we all don't talk, then Carve will just keep talking. It'll be great.
They've never found it yet, but I heard that some people found this particular missing link. So that's good.
Very well. Then once you find the missing links, then you could find the missing family line perhaps with a shrouded memory. Part 81.
81, my goodness.
I think I'm still on like 60 something, so this is
Yeah,
this is awesome. I can't believe this series has been going on this long, and it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Tim is awesome.
Now, speaking of awesome, we also have some awesome chickens coming around, or A Critter's Journey 12. Will you listen?
Critter's Journey took a strange turn this week.
Hold on. Isn't the whole concept strange?
Well, it took a strange turn because it was actually less strange than it has been previously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we actually got like some halfway cohesive story that didn't make me scratch my head. So it was very cool. And apparently the narrative is going to be doing something different through the Lone Lands. So yeah, it's still my second favorite series on the site.
Second favorite? What's your favorite?
Well, that would be the Poems of the Pine.
Terry's a suck up.
Yes, I can see. Speaking of Poems of the Pine, we have Book 2 from the Moria epic, The Heart of Fire. We searched the records for rumors of old that spoke of an axe of especial might. Of mithril it was made, that majestic ore that brought the dwarves to the depths of Moria. Yet where was it made, and what was its fate? Could the axe be found at the forge it was made? In the hoard of words on weathered sheets, we learned the lore to unlatch the way. To find the door, we dared to face the goblins that lived and gathered below. The maps we stole did make it clear that a secret place was plundered not. In the empty spot we sped at once and found the forge's door. No axe did wait in the way of smiths, but we found the heart of fire.
And that would be why this is my favorite series.
Yeah, that was awesome, Pineleaf.
It's not that I'm a suck up, it's that it's just that awesome.
It really is. And I remember when we first became a poem podcast, that was our first email, I'm pretty sure, had a poem, or it was very early on. And since then, we've had all these poems, and Pineleaf just became the poem reader. And he eventually got this series, and it's just been fun to see how this progression has gone on, and how Pineleaf has literally taken a class from Corey Olsen on poetry now. And that's epic. So
I think Tolkien would approve of us being a partially poem podcast.
I think you're right. And for some people, it might be that part of the book, podcast that people skip, or,
Just like in the book. Just like when we read the book.
Well played, sir.
let's then head into our new player question. And Maven, what's the question this week?
Am I on? Yes, I'm
you
on.
are on.
Okay, so on my legendary item panel, Cherry's gonna love this question. Oh, there's a tab for crafted relic or crafted rune. I can't remember, but it's crafted. It's the last tab on the right hand side. Something like that. So, what is the crafted relic or rune? Can I create such things, and if so, where do I get the recipes?
It's a relic, yes, and your guild thing place.
So they're guild level
Yeah.
recipes, huh?
So
Yeah.
yeah, basically to back up a little bit, you've got crafting in any crafting you can decide, oh, I want to be gilded. So for my guardian, he's a metalsmith, and I've decided to make him a crafted armorer. So, or excuse me, a gilded armorer. So he can go to the armorsmith guild or whatever in Thorin's Hall, and when you're there, you can buy improved recipes of some stuff. But one of the things you can buy is recipes for these relics.
Right.
And you basically have to make the recipe using different things in your tab, and then it pops out with like a black crown or something like that, and then you take that
Right.
to your guild master and or whatever he's called, and you trade for these relics, and then you deconstruct them, and then they pop up and you can use them. So some folks like to craft those and use them and deconstruct them and refine them down into shards. Other people like to put them in for their actual weapons, but once you get enough of them, you don't need them anymore. So you can. Some of them are actually really quite nice. I know the basic standard is like mastery for guardians, at least, which is the only one I really know about. But you can get one with like mastery or mitigations is the basic choice that you have, with other things added onto it as well. But like it's basically just another way to make your allies even more crazy than they already are, and you do them.
And is it like essences where different classes have different devices they can make? Is that right?
I don't know that it's different classes. I don't think it is different classes.
Yeah, I do remember
It's
that
different
there. I
crafting
think
instructions.
I think on the bridles there are some that are.
Yeah, the like CableNet Dragon says, there's Warsteed ones you can make for your Warsteed that are actually, if you don't like, okay, if you like mounted combat, or if you don't like mounted combat, if you really can't stand mounted combat and you haven't yet gotten Warsteed relics and have a fully maxed out like with bridles and Warsteed relics, that makes a world of difference. If you're
Really?
having a rough time with mounted combat and it's boring and it's hard to steer and it's just definitely if you get may make some of those bridles and relics in it, it's a night and day difference between a horse with a bridle that's got all the good legacies on it and good relics. It's a huge difference, and it's definitely worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's good to know.
Brannick in the chat wants a confirmation. He says it's different crafting guilds, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
different
different
crafting
crafting guilds make
different.
slightly different
So,
ones.
like, I'm a gilded tailor, so my recipe is going to be for a different device than what, say, your recipe is going to be from your guild. Like the essences are that way too, right? I mean, different crafting types have different essences that they can make. There's
Yeah,
not
this-
a duplication.
Yeah, this is the thing that confuses me about the crafted relics. Like, I know that like each craft guild person can make a type of relic, but they're bind on acquire, aren't they? Or is there some part of that particular exchange process where it becomes not bind on acquire? And so if I have stats that my metalsmith can make, but I want those on my runekeeper, is there some point in that exchange where I can craft it and give it over, or is it only the character who makes that?
I've purchased them on the auction house.
Yeah,
so
I've gotten
Yeah.
relics from other
bind on acquire.
players.
I mean, bind on equip.
Yeah,
you can-
there are some that are
The top tier
purchasable, and there are
ones.
others that can't be.
Right, the top tier ones. I'm not sure if they're bind to account. I think they're bound to account. But the top tier, like the best ones, those are bound. But the ones below it aren't.
But what
If
you
I remember.
can do is have them craft an LI for you and then have them also apply the runes to that LI and then send you the item.
I thought that you can't apply
You
a
can't do
rune
that
until
if you
after
don't
you
have it
No, you have to.
Ah,
Yeah.
If
you're
you
right.
equip it.
I thought I was going to game the system,
No.
and dang it.
He just did an and dang it. Ah, ha, ha. According to Eldoleth in chat, the accuracy, battle, and tactic ones are bound, but apparently the Vit, agility, and might ones aren't. Unless they're yellow.
Okay.
I guess. That makes sense. But the vitality ones are made by a weaponsmith, the might ones are made by a metalsmith, and the agility ones are made by a woodworker. And I guess.
You found, like, I've not had a problem with getting them on my Guardian, at least. But the basic answer is yes, you can make them. You can make one that'll go in there that'll improve your weapon over where it already is, and your war steed over where it already is. But you basically, like, I think you can make any of them. Yeah, Fredulous did confirm the bind and acquire ones have the same stats every profession. You can make every different ones because I seem to remember there's like 7 or 8 different options that you can get, depending on what exactly it is that you're going for. But the main idea is, yeah, you need a gilded crafter, all the way leveled all the way up. Fully gilded crafter.
Gotcha.
Once
Oh,
you
and
level
I
all
see.
the way
Okay,
up,
and not only that, I see what it is you don't actually get the devices. You actually have to, like in my tailor, I have to actually make something that becomes a barter item
Yep.
that I then barter for to get the device.
Now
Got
this
it.
needs.
Okay, I was wondering why I never saw that recipes in the recipe thing.
Right. Now,
Okay.
are these the things that require the tomes that you get at the quest givers, such as the one who sends you out to getting 25 spider webs from the Scuttledales, for example?
yes, or you can get them from the skirmish camp, and they're
Or you
comparatively.
get,
Yeah,
yes, you can also
those-
get them from the skirmish camp, which is
What is
a
it,
lot
like
easier.
Compendium
That's
of
good to
Middle
know.
Earth History or something like that?
Compendium of Middle Earth, Volume 1 up through
1,
5.
2,
Volume
3,
5 is the
4,
high.
5.
You know, I had 1 through 5, and I thought they were like
6, 7,
old,
8, 9, 10.
obsolete items, and I got rid of them.
Nope.
Oops.
They're used to make
Oops.
these. As far as I know,
Compendiums
that's what
are?
they're
Yeah.
used for.
Yeah, that's the only thing the compendiums are used
Oopsie.
for, is those crafted relics.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
they're used,
Well, let that
and they're
be the
level
lesson.
specific too, I think.
The good news is
Yeah.
they're cheap.
The compendiums?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that doesn't make me feel quite so bad.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to go to the skirmish camp than to kill. Well, actually, it's not killing 25 spiders in the Citadels. It's killing a lot more than 25 because the drop rate's not 100%.
No,
Yeah,
it's not like that.
just go to a skirm camp. Make your life easier.
Find yourself a couple of epic battles and then go to Scrum Camp, you'll be fine.
All right, cool. Excellent. That's good to know because I always had wondered where they came from. I mean, I know they showed up magically on the auction house,
Storks.
but I figured that wasn't them.
Right. Let's head into our week in Lotro. And Maven, you are up first.
Again, me
Yeah.
again? Okay. Well, it's because I happened to be on there earlier today before anybody else entered anything. So, well, first of all, there we had the premiere of the Girls of Middle Earth show, and oh my goodness, we had the best time. We kicked roving threat butt all over the Misty Mountains. We're 1 shy. Actually, if I'd realized we were 1 shy, we said let's get the 4th guy. But let's see, it was Riddleberry, Cablenet Dragon, Key, Feedweek, the Dwarf Runekeeper, and Riddleberry is a minstrel, and Terry Adwin, the champion, and Glordrell, the hunter. And we took on roving threats in the Misties. It was great. We had a Bjorning, actually. It was funny. We got to the first roving threat, and there was this guy standing there. He was just standing there in front of the roving threat. Roving threat standing. He's standing there. I guess he was waiting for somebody to show up. So he joined us. He was a Bjorning, and he joined us. And then what else did we do? Oh, we did the school and the library, right?
Yes,
It's all a
after
Miss
Riddleberry
Christina.
deserted us for dinner and we were down to 3,
Right,
we did the 3
Hobbit.
hands.
What are you gonna do? God.
Yeah.
And then
Food.
later in the week we did a photo shoot, which was awesome, that I shared on the Twitter stream, and it was great. I also got a new lesson how to fight with a guardian, how a hunter should fight with a guardian, which is don't be behind him when he's fighting 16 mobs, because I could end up getting some spillover damage. So, and then I got my scholar to a Norian level. Now he's at a Norian level, but truthfully, the last 3 crafting tiers are only at I've only got the first tier taken care of. So there's still work to do, but he at least can do a Norian level scholar stuff, which is good. So he can supply my other characters. So that was a good week. Carvet.
So
How about you?
hoity-toity. So hoity-toity. Yes, I've completed my degree in a Norian level scholarship. Yes, fantastic. That's great. I love saying stuff like that. Okay, so I started to stream North Cotton Farms instance because we were gonna take in their absence, and the absence ended up being me because right as we started, my power went out, and then we discovered the reason the power went out because there was a tornado there from my neighborhood, 2 streets over. Everybody's fine, we're good, but it was just like I wanted to do this instance. What do you mean it's a natural disaster? Boo! So yeah, it was okay, whatever. And then I know Pay, my free-to-play challenge character, has made it into Agmar. A Hobbit's journey from Arkhead to Agmar has actually made it to Agmar on a free-play account. So thus far, I've purchased Evendim, Agmar, and the currency cap by grinding TP. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm having a lot of fun streaming it. So we're taking the Ramduath, and we're heading up into Aher next.
Has that been all in one character, Carve?
3 actually.
That's what I figured.
And really the middle character was kind of like a 40-minute long TP burner. He didn't last long. Second character I played all the way through Bree. So I actually had 2 throwaways and a legitimate main character, but when it comes right down to it, the main character is all the way up, and then I had essentially one burner that I threw away. Because that first TP guy only got like, I don't know, like 50 or 60 TP. He didn't get much.
So basically 2 characters you've done it in.
Yeah, 2 characters I've done it in. And then I think my next goal is to unlock another character slot so that I can begin leveling a second character and still have a 3rd slot for a burner as I level on that guy. But it's been fun. So
Cool.
we've been having a good time with Inope and his friends. The newlyweds, the Beard Kissers, have escorted Bingo out of the Shire, and they're very thankful to be away from the rest of the hobbits. Unfortunately, that led them right into a meeting of Bingo's many relatives, and yet they're going to go to the Old Forest. And let me tell you what, Ballerina is looking forward to the Old Forests. She loves the trees, not so keen on the spiders, but that should be a fun episode next week when we quest the Old Forest. So, Terry Adwin, how was your week?
Well, skirmished responsibly with Flosen's Sugar Bear and my Berg Sarissa after Carvlet was absent because he lost power.
He's all deserted us. Look at that. The show notes are tempered.
Yeah.
He deserted
After
us.
he deserted us, after
Yeah,
Carv
yeah.
deserted us, because natural disasters. Not an
Yeah,
excuse.
hiding in the
Yes, it
bathroom.
actually is. No,
Right.
it's funny because we're standing there. We're like, all right, well now what are we gonna do? Because we hadn't gotten the tweet or anything that he had lost power. It was like, well, we knew there was bad weather, thunderstorms in the area, so we're standing there by the mustering horn, and this guardian comes by and he's like, did you guys want to go do the instance with me? And he actually sent us both tells individually. And so we both sent back individual replies of, we're actually waiting for our 3rd person, but thank you. And then our 3rd person, didn't show up
Oh dear.
because, his power had gone out.
And then the Guardian proceeded to solo it. Yeah.
Probably.
Probably. So Sugar Bear and I ran some skirmishes, and it was very cool because Sugar Bear's not really done. Flossen hasn't really done a whole lot of group content, and the dynamics change when you go from even solo to duo skirms.
Yep.
And then, of course, we discussed things like burglar mechanics and how skills work and all that other fun stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And then later on this week, I started a new lore master on Brandywine. I don't know why Brandywine. It's just I only had one character on Brandywine. That's what it was, and I really needed another character on Brandywine. So I made a lore master on Brandywine. And her name is Bernalata Pinecones, easily lost. And she skirmished irresponsibly with her brother Carvelot.
Who looks like a baller, I might add.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I've gotten so lazy with the lore master though, because I dragged the little command where you can command your pet to attack. I dragged that down to like my number 2 key. So I literally just hit the tab and then the 2, and I do like no other skills. Every once in a while I'll throw out a fire thing if I'm really feeling it. Yeah, and she's up to level 28. So With not, I have no clue what the skills do on the floor master because I'm not using the skills. And my baby bear, who I think baby bear's like 3 weeks old, not such a baby anymore. She's up to level 41 and questing an Angry-Mar. So, Aerithert, what have you been up to?
I actually did stuff in Lotro this week.
Woot!
I know. So the biggest thing was we get bingo boffined, and the whole it's kind of funny because there's actually a thread on the forums, the Lotro forums, of like, please never do that again for second breakfast, because it was just sort of gave a general direction. And if you've watched me play, like seen me stream, the first thing I do after I get a quest is, where's the little ring? And there wasn't one. And I was
Spoiler
like,
alert, because
No.
people have been asking for that whenever we're talking about Bingo Boffin. I had the same issue, Arthur.
okay. I'm not giving like story spoilers, but basically I was like, yeah, what do I do? Where do I go? And it was spoiler alert, you have to go
Was
somewhere
that?
for a quest. Anyways, so I also got some warging done because I didn't feel like doing my level addicts Wednesday, so I was just like, I'm gonna get on my warg, and it was bizarre. There was like a lot of people out, and I didn't get very much. I got like 2 kills, and that was it for a grand total of like 300 infamy. So it was a very, very slow day. Even though there was a lot of action, just like we'd have a massive amount of people swarm in before we could kill anybody. So it was kind of like me. And in spite of that, we did see a carve warg. There was a creep conga line. That was fun.
That was cool.
Um,
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the
You saw
creep
the carve
conga line
war.
was pretty awesome.
It was.
You see carbs warg like in between trips from the res ring.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But I mean,
was-
that happens on everybody. Like that.
Yeah.
That's expected, you know. Especially on a warg. Especially like any low ranked creep is really squishy, and wargs are basically the squishiest thing in the game. And until you have your oh crap runaway skills, you die a lot. Like, yay. Anyways, today I screamed at things until they died on
Ooh.
my minstrel.
Which was great.
It was fun in Wildemore. I like Wildemore. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Wildemore, it's the worst place ever." But I actually really like Wildemore. I don't know why.
I do too.
I do too.
It's
Me
just
too.
I liked the story. People were like, "The story's awful," and I'm like, "I don't know what
I
you're
don't
talking
think it is
about."
at all.
I
think
thought
it's
it was a great. Like, it's one of my favorite parts about Rohan because it's still so Rohan, but it's so not like the Rohan you picture.
I would
You
like
know?
to say though, if you do just the epic story, the story is not that great. So maybe
The
that's
story
where
makes
that
no
comes
sense
from.
whatsoever.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah.
Because the side quests are amazing in that zone, but the epic is less because it intertwines with the side quests.
Yeah. I realized that after I did side quests and then I did the epic quest, and it was like, what are we gonna do if this thing comes? And I was like, he already came.
Yeah, there is
So-
that little detail.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Ending, what did you do today?
Today, wow, that's
Today.
specific.
Only today.
Only today. Well,
Only
today I did a Bingo Boffin stream, which was super awesome. I was with Pine Leaf, and we went to the Great River, both of us dramatically underleveled. But because we were on Beorning Minstrel, everything just like
Died.
fled in fear and was dead, and it was epic. So much awesome.
So much OP.
Very OP. Like, I wasn't completely sold on us being OP, mostly because we're not playing our characters right. I think Pineleaf can agree on that.
Well, yeah, I'm not exactly the best equipped character in the game.
Yeah, we both haven't gotten like the best gear or anything. Like, for example, today we both had like gear that was 20 levels under, and we finally got better gear today.
Yeah.
So we're not claiming to be the best in the world, and yet we're still just blowing through this stuff. So it was a lot of fun to just be super overpowered and be gaining a lot of XP because we were way underleveled.
Too bad though that the stable masters weren't overpowered.
No, they're not. You have to be level 70 for those. It's ridiculous. Even to go back the way you came, you have to be level 70 to go back to Lothlorien from Great River.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Because we were just wanting to go back to, the Bingo Boffin location, and we couldn't because
You gotta be 70.
gotta be 70. This week I also did what Arathert said he did in Bingo Boffin, and it was fun. I also I also started work on the third episode of Middle-earth Lore this week. And not only did I start, but I've also recruited a YouTuber to help out with this.
Is that like a potato?
Is it your potato? My potato? Her
A
potato?
YouTuber?
No, it's not like a
Potatoes.
a tomato.
Potatoes. I like potatoes. They're so yummy.
I'm just so shocked. Like that came out of nowhere. That was great, May. No, it's not like that.
You
It's a
potato,
person.
you potato YouTuber.
It's a person who
Go
makes
ahead.
videos.
Go ahead, Andy.
It's a person who makes videos on YouTube, and they actually had 3 videos in the top 25. So, really
My
excited.
apologies to the YouTuber if you're listening to this.
Really
Somebody
excited to
listens
have Levine join the team. It is going to be so awesome, and already she's been helping out a lot. So great.
So
to
when
have
is
her on the team.
episode 3 due out? She asks.
Well,
Putting ending on the spot.
I'm going to give a very general possibility. This is not
Sometime
set in
2016.
this is not set in stone, but my goal is to by mid-March have early access to episode 3 on Patreon. And
Awesome.
then April, whatever that first Monday is, assuming it's not April 1st because we're not going to release on April 1st. But whatever the first Monday that is after the 1st of April, in April, whichever Monday that is when we hope to release the 3rd episode of Middle-earth Lore, assuming all the cards align in the right spots. So yeah, not too far away. I mean, that sounds like a long time, but considering how long these take to make, that's really not that far away. So excited to do that. A lot of that's because spring break is the thing, and I'm hoping to get a lot of work done then. So anyway, Pineleaf, what have you been up to the last day and/or week?
Very well, we'll begin with last Sunday with my small fellowship skirmish group where we survived the Barrel Downs for 25 minutes.
Oh my god, I hate you.
What?
What? I don't think I've gotten past 5 minutes there.
Oh. Well, we'll have to amend that at some point.
Please, yes. Put it on your list.
Uh,
Put it on your
What
to-do list.
Not even when we had it from the...
Well,
From
we
when we
went,
had it at-
but I don't think we did it for. I don't think we lasted 15 minutes.
We
though,
did.
we?
I know we did it for Mythgard.
I just have this
Yeah.
image of Pineleaf for like his 2017 Lotro Academy goals is to get May past the 25-minute mark in the Paradown.
And when he reviews them in 2018, saying that did not happen.
It is a beginning.
Anyway,
All right. Then we'll head into I created a new lore master for a challenge character, and originally I was planning on doing a one of my versions of Pineleaf and using this over on one of the EU servers, and during a concert today while I was with the Ninny Hammers and we were all playing in there, and Lily Kate was telling us that next week that we were doing a concert over on Brandywine. And so, of course, I said, yes, I do have a version of Pine Song over there. And when the other people says, oh, what's her name? Pine Brandy or something like that? And that gave me the idea of the name Brandy Pine.
So,
Since-
Pineleaf, we title last week's episode Punleaf.
yeah.
And already the first thing you do in the next week is create a pun character.
Brandy Pine.
It's gone to your head,
Pineleaf's
Pineleaf.
response is, so what's your point?
It's gone to
Yeah.
your head. It's gone to his
And-
head. He's getting this big head.
I think
Very
Piney's
well.
always been
Now,
like that. He's just always
anyway,
been like that.
Brandy Pine is what I decided to name my lore master there, and that I'm going to use as a challenge character. My challenge character is going to be that I'm only allowed to have certain sources for the gear I get. I cannot purchase it from the auction house. I can't get it through trade or anything like that. I have to either craft it, but since I'm a yeoman and I can't go and purchase the leather for it. In other words, all I'm going to get out of the yeoman are going to be the food and buffs like that. The second thing that I can get it from is from epic story quests, but not from regular quests, just epic story quests. And the let's see, crafting epic story quests. Oh, and of course the skirmish camp, since I am Pineleaf.
Of course.
Of course.
So therefore, I have to get it from one of those sources. Now I can also get it from Hobbit presents, but there are restrictions on when I'm allowed to open up Hobbit presents. And
How many marks do you have, Pineleaf? Like, surely you can afford.
well, that is a question on whether or not I. That's the one reason
Want to
why
spend
at
them?
first I was originally planning on doing it on a Euro server, so I could start on a server where I had no marks. But I am going to have to say that I had to have earned a reasonable number of marks on this character. I can't just go and use up all of my Warren's marks for it. I was
Well,
tempted maybe
actually,
just
you can. You want to know a way to get around that? You can transfer all of your shared currencies off of Brandywine for free.
well, yeah, that's what I did on. In fact, that's what I did on the Euro server in order to get rid of the few marks I had there. But I'm just wondering, do I want to transfer all of my marks off and because I do have a warden that I'm leveling on there that's supposed to be leveling this year and get to 100, and I cannot gift that character in order to do it. So I just probably have to keep track of how many marks I get on this character and budget myself that way.
I just had an idea, Pineleaf. You can
What?
hoard all of your marks on Arkenstone. Just transfer them all over from all your characters you've ever created, and then you have just this huge mark hoard that rivals like the developers like using exploits and all that stuff. Like you're just gonna have this immense number of marks.
Finally, during one of the epilogues where I was, or one of the characters I'm doing for bingo questing, I took the epilogue where you're supposed to go to Karis Galathon and inform an elf of a certain family member that is no longer able to return home, so to speak. And it says in the quest, when you take the quest, the first step is to gain access to Karis Galathon. Okay, fine. That's straightforward. I gained access to it during the bingo boffin quest, right? So therefore, I have access to the city. I go there, and it still says gain access to Karis Galathon. I am standing next to the NPC that you're supposed to speak with next. Gain access to Karis Galathon. So apparently, the quest hasn't been updated since there have been alternate ways in which you could gain access to the city. Because back when the quest was made, you could only gain it by getting ally rep with Lothlorien. So I bugged it saying either change the quest text or allow any means of gaining access to do it, because the quest text implies that any access should be able to get you there, but you need ally status with Lothlorien in order to be able to complete the quest.
So you end up with these little trinkets of leftovers from when Lotro moved on from version A to version B. I discovered
Yes.
a really cool one today.
Right. So now let's head into news beyond Lotro. And this is a section that is born of hope.
Yes, Pineleaf. Yes, absolutely. This is an awesome video, and it's actually not just a video, it's a full fan film, and a really high quality fan film. There's just amazing production value that went into this, and it's just a completely free video that is on YouTube,
It's really
and
great.
it's
And it
really
is
great.
really good.
It
I've seen
tells,
it.
it basically tells the story of Arathorn, and if you don't know who that is, then you'll have to watch the
Not to
film.
be confused with Aerthert.
Yes, not to be
My
confused with
story is
Arathorn.
not on film yet. Yet.
Yeah,
Yes.
yet.
I love the confidence there. Not on film yet, so yes.
Coming to
It'll be.
theaters 2,000 million whatever years from now.
Yeah, really.
And part of why I picked this highlight to be this week is because Kate Madison, who made Born of Hope, is also releasing the new fantasy series we talked about previously, Rin, the Girl with the Mark, and it's coming out on March 1st. So right around the corner on Tuesday. The first episode will be available online on their YouTube channel, which you can get a link to in the article that is this Born of Hope video highlight. So, super awesome. You can also probably just search Rin, the Girl with the Mark, and get there as well. So, very excited for that series, and hopefully we'll be doing like review articles or something like that of each episode, or at least posting about it that it's coming out. So, be on the lookout for that. I'm really excited about this series.
Very well. Now let's head into the moot of the week because I'm sure Ann Bang will remind me that we started late, so therefore I should not count that time against us. So let's go into what are the pros and cons of Gollum's Cave?
You're so well trained, finally. It's great. I don't even have to mention it. You just move on. It's great.
So therefore, let us start with the books. And anyone have any impressions? Let's start with pro impressions that you've had from Gollum's Cave within the books.
Well, the books describe it as a cave, and Gollum lives there.
Well, actually, the books do more than that because
Yeah, I mean,
it does mention that he lives on an island in the middle of a lake in the cave.
okay, so yeah, so in the middle of the cave there was a lake. In the lake there
And
was the island.
the entire riddle game would not work properly if Gollum was not so isolated in his cave. And so it is just like this backdrop that isn't too interesting, but when you consider it in the context of the riddle game, it actually has a really profound effect because Gollum hasn't seen sunlight in a long time.
Right. And in fact, this cave is, they very much go out of the way to tell you how dark this cave
Yeah.
is. And I don't know if any of you have ever visited a cave, but when they turn out the lights in there,
Oh, yeah.
it's dark.
You literally can't see the hand directly in front of you. It is
it
pitch
hurts your
black.
eyes from trying to catch
does.
some glimpse of light.
Which I think always, for me, reading that section of the book always creeped me out because knowing that all you could see were these faintly glimmering eyes in the darkness is just, no, thank you.
I mean,
Anyone have any?
besides like the basic descriptive, like the description of it that lets you see how dark it is in the books, I think in retrospect, I guess with a plot, you think of it in like an ascending curve, and then there's a climax, and then it goes down. In this particular bit of the book, it's sort of like a reverse plot crescent curve thing. You've got Bingo, or excuse me, not Bingo. You've got Bilbo who's in this situation, and stuff just seems to keep getting worse and worse and worse, and then he encounters this, and shortly after that, he gets out to the sunlight, and it's like an episode is over. It's sort of like because of the mountain, it goes down, and you see that I don't know. I don't want to quite say catastrophic because it's not quite that exciting when he gets out, but that idea of him getting down and things getting darker, literally as well as figuratively, and then escaping out into the light, both literally and figuratively. I think like Tolkien did it well in the books, I think.
What? Anyone have any cons for the book?
I think that is very tough because this is a lot of people's
Yeah.
favorite part of the books, or it's pretty
Well,
high up on the list. So
oh yes, that is definitely a high favorite. Probably the only con I could think of is that this chapter, now not technically of, I don't know if this section I'm about to talk about is going to get its own separate entry for Moot of the Week, but this chapter, more than any other chapter in The Hobbit, was revised when they did the second edition of The Hobbit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I never read the original version of that chapter, but
Yeah, but I once read a paper that was comparing the two versions of it. So
yeah.
love to
In
read
fact,
the first edition
there's
there.
a website actually that has the actual two chapters like almost side by side with the
Ooh.
changes marked.
Send that to me.
Yeah. I will. I'll see if I can find it. 'Cause
Okay.
I know we talked about when I did the Story of the Hobbit course, somebody had posted it up there, so I'm sure it's back on the discussion where I can at least find the URL. Yeah, it's really interesting.
that would be really interesting.
Well, that'd
Yeah,
be
because I
the
mean,
revision that-
in the first version, Gollum was just this jolly little weird.
he
dude.
wasn't jolly.
Well, he was, I mean, he
He-
still ate
He
forks and
was
fish,
he
but
was
he
just
was
nasty, just nowhere near as nasty as he turned out to be.
yeah,
Yeah, he wasn't
was-
ring induced.
Quirky.
and he was he had integrity about the game. In other words, he planned to pay off when Bingo. I did the same thing when Bilbo won. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, the difference is really interesting. So yeah, he had to go retcon that chapter. And the other interesting part actually is that he rewrote the chapter and sent it to his publisher saying, "What do you think of it?" In other words, he hadn't said this is it. It was like, "What do you think? Do you think this will work?" And the next thing he knows, it's published in the book.
Wow.
Which is probably you know what? The publisher probably said that. Go ahead and just publish it because if we send it back to him, it'll take forever to get it back from him.
Yeah.
Yes, those publishers know him well.
They probably did. Yeah, it's really interesting. Because we take for granted, like this is the way it came, this is what it's always been. So to find all that out is really interesting.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the cave in the game. I mean, the cave in the movie was really interesting too. I mean, I thought that was pretty true to,
That
a
was
picture of it.
when
Just
I
exact-
saw that movie the first time. It was actually like it was pretty great. My little sister and I both, big fans of the books and stuff like that. And it was kind of funny because I was in the middle and Becca was actually on my right. It was kind of our first date, and my little sister was on her left, and we were kind of reciting the riddles along with Gollum and Bilbo, which probably was annoying to everyone else around us. But we were like, "Oh my gosh, he's doing it right!" It was great, and like there was some parts where we were like, I mean, he messed it up. Learn the lines better, but it was that scene was one of the best parts of the entire Hobbit trilogy. In my
Absolutely.
opinion.
Oh, I thought it was,
Mhm.
that was
Well-
awesome. All the way through to the end, where Bilbo decides to jump over him instead of kill him. I mean, I
Yeah.
was just
That
blown away.
whole thing was amazing.
And it's crazy that was the first scene they filmed
I
for
know.
The Hobbit.
Yeah. But if it was Martin Freeman's first day on the job,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also remember that scene from the first Hobbit movie. Not, I don't
Yeah.
mean Peter Jackson's. I mean the one from the 70s.
The animated one, yeah.
The real
Yeah.
one, right? The one that set all the
Yes.
standards.
Yes, seeing the
The greatest adventure.
yes.
Marty
The
hates that.
greatest adventure.
Oh my god, now Gleowine started singing
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's how they sound, though. They sound like old
Gleowine
men.
sings Glenn Yarbrough.
That's how they sound in the thing, though, because like they're on like these old records, and like they do this
Oh.
weird like voice thing that they used to do for songs back then.
Next time we have Corey on, do that. He loves that song.
I'm
Not
sure
much.
he would.
Oh my gosh, he would never come on the show again.
Let's. All right. Any other comments for pros on the films?
I think that because of the Rankin Bass films, it shows just how good Peter Jackson did his film. They did such a great job, uh, and at first I wasn't sure if I'd like them having the Peter Jackson version of Gollum going through that scene, but I think that it worked perfectly, and I was surprised how well it worked considering that it is a different Gollum that they have that is telling through this. It's not the same Gollum from the books, and so it was interesting to see how it played out differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Then what about cons for the films?
It comes right after you see that scribe, and so it leaves like that bad taste in your mouth where there's the annoying scribe that is just so
I
obnoxious.
feel like he's that thing from
I excised that
Jabba
from
the
my
Hutt.
memory.
I
The
can't do that
salacious
quickly. I mean, that's it's it's so bad. But then you get into this scene and you're reminded of how good it is, and it would have been better to just have not described before, and then you would be thinking it's even better. But I digress. My other con is that at Mythmoot there was not a Corey cam of the Riddles in the Dark scene where we could see Corey's reactions.
Reaction. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, he'd already seen the movie
He
before we went to see
had,
it.
which is
so,
sad.
you know,
He
I
should
know.
have had a Corey cam when he saw it the first time. Just
I know. I just picture him, like in any of these movies where if he gets really outraged, standing up in the theater going, "Oh, you're like Faramir or something. How dare you do that?" Getting
Well,
carried
he's-
out by the ushers.
he's honestly close to how I think Tolkien would react to being in the
Yes, that's
theater.
probably true. Well, I think I've told you, Carpenter, Humphrey Carpenter, he actually wrote the authorized biography.
Hmm.
This is before he wrote the authorized biography, which is kind of a miracle that he got permission to write the biography. I forget if he was in school or not, but anyway, he wrote a play of The Hobbit. Okay, and this when Tolkien was still alive, of course, and he decided to change the story so that Smaug gets killed at the mountain because that just made more sense to him. And then he invites Professor Tolkien to come see the play.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
You got some
I mean,
serious.
talk about
possibly
hubris,
go wrong,
right?
my
I mean,
friend.
boy,
What could
let me
possibly
I'm
go
just
wondering,
wrong?
is this?
come and see how I did it, sir, because this is a much better way to tell the story. I mean, can you imagine? Oh my
I'm
gosh.
trying to think of. Actually, he died at the mountain. What about Bard and stuff like that?
I don't even
Okay,
think Bard
so
figured
this is
into
a
it.
different play version of the Hobbit than I saw several years back because I distinctly remember Bard being it and things
Oh
like.
no, there's a bunch of different versions of
Yeah,
it.
there
This
are.
was
Oh,
done
okay.
over in England, yeah, and it was back in the 60s or when Professor was still alive. But I just couldn't believe that. I'm like, boy, that's a lot of gall,
Well,
and then to bring the professor to it, expecting him to like approve it, which big surprise, he didn't like it.
what I think is the most amazing thing is that we live in a world where a Beatles
In a
Hobbit,
world
where a Beatles Hobbit almost happened, or was it Beatles Lord of the Rings?
No,
It's just like
that's true. No, I think it was Lord of the
it
Rings.
was Lord of the
I think
Rings,
it was
but
Lord of the
still,
Rings,
the
yeah.
fact that that almost happened in the world in which we live is just mind-blowing to me, because that would have
It
been
is
such
mind-blowing.
a terrible film.
And for me, only slightly less mind-blowing. I think the Beatles actually is the most mind-blowing. The other mind-blowing thing to me is that without telling Professor Tolkien, a PR person or marketing person or whatever person in the publisher house sent the Lord of the Rings to Disney Studios, pitching it for a movie without Tolkien knowing that because
Wow.
he hated Disney. And they turned it down because it was just too complex to make. But I mean, I'm sure if they'd said yes, he would have quashed it because he just,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he did not like Disney at all.
Well, I mean,
No,
that's
kind of-
the running theme with the Lord of the Rings is that everyone thought it was too hard to be
To
created,
do, yeah.
and
Well,
so
and it probably was really
Yeah.
until CGI and
Until
stuff.
we
got-
had the technology.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're kind of off the topic, but it's just kind of interesting tidbits about. I mean, for me, it makes reading the books a lot richer when I kind of know a little
Yeah.
of that history. Like Eowyn was originally supposed to be Theoden's daughter. That's a whole nother topic. We'll do that when we do a Rohan moot.
There you go. let's then head into the game. Pros
Hard to
for the
find, but
game.
cool. That's my official opinion.
It's hard to find
What did you
everything.
say?
In there.
It's hard
Jeez.
to find, but it's cool.
See, I never
Actually,
have a
once you-
problem finding Gollum's cave.
You just keep
it's the
going
other
down and
stuff
then
in
just
there.
Go straight down.
You
head
go
Go
down
right.
and
down
right,
and
down and
Goblin
right,
Town?
right and down,
Yeah.
right, down, down and right and down and right. And
Yeah, you
you're
just
done.
keep going down, and then when you get to the instance, you know you've gone too far, and you turn around and go
Alright,
back into the
I'm
cave.
bad with
I
directions.
really
and
like it.
Goblin
But, you know, I
Town.
like the one in the instance better than the landscape one. I think the one in the instance is cooler. I like all the murals. I love the Gollum mural. I think that's awesome. It's almost like a warning sign. Warning.
Yeah.
Weird creature with
Well,
gold ring beyond point.
that's the point, though. I think I like how the goblins have put that down there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, the one in the overworld instance is the one that has the really weird salamander worm things in it, and then the one in the Seat of the Great Goblin just has dead fish everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's the one. Maybe I like the dead fish better.
Well, I think the Seat of the Great Goblin one is shortly after Gollum's left, whereas
Yep.
the
Oh,
on
sure.
landscape one is,
All the
60,
salamanders
70
came
years later.
in
taken
and
over.
Yeah,
so
years later.
ate all the fish.
Yeah.
Well, kind of he was probably eating salamanders too. So once he was gone, they were able to live there.
Yeah.
Well, that would make
He
sense.
wasn't really picky. I don't think.
No,
Hey, whatever he could get his.
Cooked food
So-
he didn't like.
The one
but-
thing that
because he ate that goblin at the beginning, didn't he?
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
he would get a small goblin whenever he could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so he ate it in the movie, he ate it in the book. I mean, the thing that I've always found that kind of bugged me, and I know for the sake of filmatic, is that even a word?
Filmatic.
For cinematography, there has to be a certain level of lighting. I get that, all right? But Gollum's Cave has always appeared to me to be way too bright in no matter what version I've ever seen of it. And I understand it has to be that case for the cameras and whatnot, but it would be awesome if there was just enough light in one of the versions of Gollum's Cave for all you could see was like the actor's face who's playing Bilbo. And maybe
isn't that what they did in the
Backstreet
in the
version?
cartoon version?
It
Yeah.
might have been. I mean,
Yeah,
because
because
it
I
needed to
think
be
all
like-
you could see.
Oh, don't even get me. Yeah, but Gollum in the cartoon version.
Well,
oh my
okay, yeah,
gosh.
he looked like a toad.
I mean, it was just. I mean, even in the
So,
cave, you're in
I
the
know,
game, like,
a
oh
pitch-
look, the whole cave is here.
Pitch black with two big green orbs.
Yeah.
The whole scene. The whole scene would be played that way.
Well, we
Yeah.
did have
Right?
Sting with a slight glow
Oh, you'd
because
have
there were
Sting, that's
orcs
right,
in
you'd
the
have
area.
Yeah, I mean, there would be
actually
just
be really cool to see.
just enough light to get just very vague details. I mean, I'm talking like Sting would be able to get and just like shadows of Gollum, not actually see Gollum unless he got really close up to Sting, but
Except
just
his
like
eyes,
shadows of him. Yeah, like his eyes, maybe a little bit of the like contours from his nose and his cheeks. But I mean, it's really creepy how dark it really should have been. And I've always felt like in every version I've seen, oh look, it's Gollum's cave. There's Gollum. There's his island. Oh look, there's something on the back wall of the cave. There's just so much light, you can see everything. It's like, okay.
I think at first that would be good, but after you get through a lot of the riddles, maybe not. So I think if they like at first establish that like this is like crazy dark, and then gradually over the course of the scene lighten it up a bit, just so
See,
that
that'd be cool. So if it gives you the impression that your eyes are adjusting to the dark,
yeah,
that'd be
exactly.
cool.
Right.
I could see that. Okay.
All right, any cons to the game, or is the light issue the main one you have?
Well, that's really the only con of the game because you're in the game. You can swim out to Gollum's Island. You're like, look, here's Gollum's Island. Yay! Okay, nothing else to do here. There's no
Too bad
flag.
Gollum's not
Yeah,
there.
I mean, it's like I am totally okay with Gollum not being there. But it's like you get to Gollum's Island. There's no deed for getting there. There's no point of interest flag that pops on your map. Gollum's cave, but there's no reason to swim out unless you're like a lore fan. There's no reason to swim out to the island and go, look, I'm here, and he's got a
Gollum's
tent.
cave is
Gollum's
what
cave.
it should be the germ of inspiration for the Wanderer class.
One of them, yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Because all you can
definitely.
do there is be the Wanderer class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That being
If
said,
you
though,
look to your right, you'll see several fish gnawed on by Gollum himself, preserved by the cold of the cave. If you look
Oh,
to
we
your
should
left,
do that. that?
This is actually Bilbo's footprint preserved in the mud. We went ahead and cast it, and it's up here on display.
One of my ideas for a YouTube video someday is to have a tour guide of Middle Earth type thing.
That'd be fantastic.
Oh, totally. That would be great.
But back to the earlier thing, I would actually prefer there not. I like it the way it is, where there's not a deed or anything like that, because I actually like the idea of some places being places that you just go to just to go there.
Yeah.
And I think Gollum's Cave, because it's especially since it's not at all tied to the events of the Lord of the Rings, at least at the time frame of the Lord of the Rings, I think that it should be this nice little Easter egg, essentially. It's just there. They didn't have to put it there. They didn't have to, go down that deep at this time period in Lotro, and I'm glad that they did. I really like that the cave is there, and it's really cool to just go in and explore.
Does anyone have any closing thoughts on Gollum's Cave?
I think all of them are pretty good. I mean, they're all interesting. But yeah, I like them all.
Well, I'm gonna go back to my original statement that yeah, it's a cave. Gollum lives there. Hence, it's called a cave.
Well, we currently have 25 supporters on Patreon, so we have had to start a second raid. And if you would like to join the ranks of this second raid, you could help support Lotro players. Simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest host with us here at Lotro Players News. And I believe we just reached a milestone.
We did, Pineleaf. We just reached, as we said earlier in the show, our 1-year VIP code giveaway. And so now our next...
That is so awesome.
It is so awesome. It
really
so
is.
awesome. So first of all, thank you everyone who's supporting us on Patreon, and even just everyone who shares like our links about Patreon and stuff like that, because that helps too. So thank you all for doing that. And so our next goal is a $100 Steam card, which is for the XP Quest site. And so simply leaving the comment on the Lotro Players giveaway will let you enter that. But anyway, we are $23 away from that. So that is the next goal.
We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, The Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotro Players @LotroPlayers, Andang @PVMP_Andang, Arathert @Arathert, Carvet @CarvetLP, Maven @TolkienMaven, Pineleaf @PineleafNews, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 5 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every other Thursday at 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. On the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Academy After School. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News, and every other Saturday after Lotro Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. You can join us for live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.